What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of one of my most anticipated movies for the past, 3-4 years, by the director of Terrified. I wanted to see this over The Exorcist. Let's get into it.
It's party time, yeah! These evil people have just got to be stopped.
It's Voidtober! So I may have just seen the best film of the year, because man, oh man, did I just watch a insane film that I don't think I've ever seen one like this ever before. If you're familiar with me and you've been around for a little while, you've probably heard of a movie that I've talked about quite extensively. I had a podcast about it. I did a review of it many times. I've talked about it on multiple occasions because it's one of those movies that I just absolutely fucking love. It's called Terrified, and I love it. It was a movie that Shudder put out, nobody had heard about or anything, and it's become this sort of cult film that a lot of people really love. And I fell in love with it because these guys do some masterful, scary, and brutal horror. This is an Argentinian director by the name of Demian Rugna. He has really brought the goods with Terrified, and I was ecstatic to see this movie. And it just so happens to be releasing the same time that Exorcist did, and I got to choose one. Can you guess which one I picked? Yeah, and I'm not sad that I did. So, what is When Evil Lurks all about? Well, it's a film about two brothers who live in a remote village who find a demon-infected man who's swollen to disgusting levels and is ready to give birth to evil itself. They decide that they're going to get rid of the body in an attempt to stop evil, but merely end up spreading it and making it 10 times worse until they deliver the inferno themselves. Confused? Curious? I bet. Yeah, this is a very, very brutal film, man. And let me tell you, I was aghast at some of the stuff that happens in this movie. Demian Rugna has written and directed a wonderful film here. I think it's probably one of the biggest films this year, and I guarantee you most people won't even see it because they're going to be so concerned about The Exorcist. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against The Exorcist. I just know that this movie in particular is going to make a lot of people happy. Right now, it's sitting at about 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. I haven't read any reviews on it or anything, but I can tell you already that this is a movie that is going to change you in some way by watching it. It is a movie that is just unrelenting. It's brutal. It's not a movie that's paced so super fast or anything, although the beginning does take you through some mysterious steps of what's going on with this demon-possessed boy and body, and you're kind of wondering what's going on. But don't worry, it doesn't take but about 15 minutes into the film for you to start to explode into some wild, crazy stuff. And when I say wild and crazy stuff, it almost made Christina cry because she couldn't believe what she was seeing. No one is off bounds in this movie, and everyone is about to die. It is going to be something that is going to make you want to look away, but you will not be able to. I was like, holy shit. I stood up in the theater. I was watching it and going nuts about it. Now, there are some slower parts in this movie, and it does have some dialogue in it that, obviously we're dealing with a film from Argentina, so you're going to want to focus on those words heavily because there is a lot of info dumps to kind of clue you in on a deeper, more metaphorical sort of variety, I think, about this movie. There is something going on in the background here that I couldn't put my finger on 100% the first watch. And I like films like that. I like films that make me want to devour it while also giving me the goods visually and kind of taking me through some fucking wild storytelling. Now, this is going to be some weird obligatory stuff for most people, and you're going to be confused for most of the movie because it doesn't really explain everything to you, and it doesn't hold your hand to let you know, hey, we're going this way. No, you're not going to expect anything to happen, and it's going to be a film that you've never seen before. It might remind you of other things slightly, but I truly think that there's a deeper meaning here that I have not fully unpacked just yet. I did call Jason from Sinister Cinema Reviews, shout out, give him a follow, and we were kind of bubbling over the movie and just kind of like what it meant. But it's obviously a movie that I'm going to have to watch a couple of times. Now, it came out in theaters right now for a very limited amount of time, and I would highly encourage you to go check it out before the theaters end, because you're going to have to wait until the end of this month, the 27th, to see it on Shudder. Now, that may not be a lot for some, but I'm telling you, we really need to support films like this, because these are the kind of films that really, really should be celebrated. There is a lot of wonderful camera work in this movie that is symbolic and metaphorical, and there's very slight things that are happening in this film while it's going on. It's not just a brutal, silly, no meaning film. This is something that's going to have many layers in every scene that you're going to watch. Everything that they say is a clue as to what is exactly happening in this story. And for some, that may be a little trying, but for a lot of us, when you get to see some of these moments that pop off in the film, you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe what I just saw, and I wish to God I could talk to you guys about some of this, but hell no. This movie goes there, though. Nobody is safe in this fucking movie, let me tell you. I don't want to say this is the most disturbing thing I've seen. I'm just going to say that it is definitely pretty wild stuff, man, that I enjoyed the hell out of. Definitely Damien Rugna has become one of my go-to filmmakers now. I didn't want to speak too big, about him before, but I thought he was a master of horror. He did some stuff in that first movie with Terrified with a kid that kind of blew my mind, and he really ups the ante in this movie, so it gets a little wild and out in the open. There's fear stuff that's going on that will shock you and scare you. There are things that are happening in this movie that you just won't understand either, and I can understand that may upset a few people and they may not find it as interesting as maybe I do, but that's like every movie anyway. But I can tell you that there's going to be some shocking things in this movie that people are going to be talking about for the next couple of years, and I like it. I like that Damien goes there. I really do think that's what you should be doing with horror, is pushing the boundaries. Nobody should be off bounds in these type of films. Like, this should be like, you don't understand. There's a vibe going on in this film that there's something evil lurking and kind of around every corner, while also kind of being this sort of action drama thriller story that, there's some things going on. It slows down a couple of points in the movie that, might make a few people tap out a little bit, but it'll quickly pick back up once you do. And man, when it shows you those goods, my God, I don't know what I think of this movie just yet 100%. I'm definitely somewhere around an 8.5 to 9 right now, and mostly because there's just not any other films like it out there, and I think that should be applauded in today's time. There's things that they do, and it really kind of just changed cinema. Like, it's not stuff that you normally see in a film. They take out people that you wouldn't normally take out, and then have these this subtle message going on in the background that's going to make you want to peel apart its layers. I mean, I don't know. This isn't a possession film that I've ever seen. This is probably more raw and realistic, and also sort of wild and unrealistic in some regards too. But man, do they not hold back from some of the brutality in this film. But let's just say this is a taboo kind of thing that they do in the film that you normally won't see in American films. But kudos, man, because that's horror to me. No, I can't say if I liked it more than Terrified just yet. I probably should have watched that one before, but there's just so much films coming out right now. I've got another review for VHS 85. There's Pet Sematary Bloodlines. We got a lot to do, guys. So hit the like and subscribe button, comment down below, and share it with someone you think might like this. Don't sleep on this. Go see it in the theater. Show them that this is the kind of stuff that we want to see, because I really think that even if you are kind of on the fence, you'll appreciate just how far it actually goes. And if you are into some of the more in-depth stuff, you'll be picking apart this movie for many hours after, like I have. But yeah, it's out now in theaters. I don't know for how long. I would definitely catch it. You'll probably see Exorcist in theaters longer than this one, because we were the only ones in the theater, and that's very disappointing to see. But let me know what you think in the comment sections down below, and if you would like to see this movie, if you're a fan of Terrified, and if you're gonna go see it in the theater, I would love to hear from you. We got more on the way, guys. Let's get this shit going, and as always, Long live the void.